Can I just say something I said yesterday in our vigil and outside the train station? That's continuation to what Maria said, that trade unions must act. And we have a trade union who we respect a lot, the National Union of Journalists. And until now, 217 journalists were killed. The latest was Hassan Slayah from my hometown, Khan Yunis, inside his room in a hospital ward. And the National Union of Journalists should act and must act, and their voice must be loud. And I know that there are good people in the National Union of Journalists, and they should really act. 217, for goodness sake. And let me tell you a statistic. This number is many more than the entire number of journalists who were killed during the Second World War in 5 years of severe fighting. So unions must take action. Unions' voices must be heard, and we must really work together and bring in every aspect. The doctors who were killed, it's over 1,000, 1,100 paramedics, the journalists, the farmers, the fishing community. Only yesterday, Mohammed Al-Asmar was killed while he was trying fishing at about 200 meters, fishing with a rowing boat at 200 meters, and they attack them every day, and they kill them every day, and they injure them every day. We need unions to act, but we are asking National Union of Journalists particularly, because we know there are good people in it, to act. I would like now to invite Leni. Leni, I don't know how we want to introduce you. Leni is our beautiful, lovely Jewish supporter, anti-Zionist supporter, but sometimes she doesn't like to be introduced as such, so I introduced her anyway.
I don't care. Yeah, thanks. Right. Sad and happy to be speaking here again. Happy because I am so honored to be part of this incredible movement full of so many people from so many backgrounds, religions, and ages, but also sad because the onslaught just escalates and nothing is being done by the outside world to stop it. This week, an image which has really stuck with me was on the BBC News. It showed 2 children in Gaza, totally emaciated, big heads, bones all protruding. It brought back the images we used to see of Ethiopia, of the starving children, images that shook the world. It brought back images of the survivors of the concentration camps after the Second World War, where starvation was a tactic of the Nazis, a tactic that the Israelis are using all the time. Well, more politicians have noticed that people are starving. Amazing. They say, this isn't right. They say it should stop. But do they propose any action? Do they suggest that we stop arming Israel when it's the obvious thing that we should be calling for and doing? The politicians' response is feeble. They say, let's talk again about the 2-state solution, which Israel has absolutely no interest in. We have gone so far from that as a possible solution, and yet that's what they keep hauling back up. What does this 2-state solution look like to the people in the West Bank, who are totally surrounded by settlements filled with fanatical Jewish people who believe that God gave them the land? What does a 2-state solution mean to the more than 20% of the Palestinians who live within Israel and have no rights? What does it mean for the people in Gaza who have lost everything? It is totally meaningless. Yet that's all our politicians could think of when they try to mention any solution at all, if they bother. But no matter how feeble our politicians are, our movement is growing, and the Palestinians are not giving up. We see more and more groups in Sheffield. A new boycott campaign has just started in Home Bargains, a door-to-door campaign in Sharrow, and the number of Jewish people totally opposed to Israel is also growing. There are Jewish anti-Zionist groups all across Europe and in many countries around the world.
Yes.
And I want to finish by telling you about a conference that was organized by Jewish Voice for Peace, a group I've spoken of a lot, that was held recently in Baltimore. The conference had over 2,000 delegates from around America, and it talked about Jewish groups springing up all over in towns all across America. Many Jews are feeling unrepresented and rejected by those who claim to speak for the Jewish community. The elders, a phrase I loved, spoke to the long tradition of progressive activism and intersectional solidarity in the United States, and how inspiring it was to see so many young Jews at this conference. Well, JVP is still a minority, but it's growing and it's influencing the Jewish narrative on Israel. And of course, we have a smaller but very active Jewish movement in this country. We even had 36 Jewish members of the Board of Deputies, a conservative, Israel-loving organization, publishing a letter in the Financial Times saying what's going on in Israel does not reflect Jewish values. We have organizations like JVP and Namud and Jews for Justice for Palestine and our very own Sheffield Jews Against Israeli Apartheid. And once again, I'm honored to be part of this incredible movement calling for justice for Palestine. We will not stop supporting you until Palestine is free. Free, free Palestine.
Thank you. Thank you so much. As always, what a powerful speech. What a powerful speech. Then, can I invite you again for some chanting?
Chef has become voice said, "Not that proud from the river to the sea."
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Israel is a terrorist state. Israel is a
Terrorist state.
Israel is a
Terrorist state.